What I had been doing was mostly drawing flash, drawing designs for tattoos, so I'd been working on it for years and years. And that was the year that my flash debuted, was 1982. And Huck Spalding came out with my line of designs. I think there was like 182 sheets or something like that at the time. And he labeled it Flash by world famous Kari Barba. And that's how I got world famous. It's because of Huck Spalding. I didn't grow up with, girls can't do as opposed to men. So that wasn't in my background. So for me it was like tattooing, awesome. If he's doing it, I can do it. I started tattooing when I was 19. I lived in Minnesota, and my upstairs neighbor happened to be a tattoo artist. And I used to sit around and draw, and he'd come in and one day he just popped in and he's like, "Kari, you should really try tattooing." And it wasn't in my mind at the time. I didn't think I'm gonna grow up and be a tattoo artist. It wasn't what I had planned, but under his wing I gave it a shot and fell in love, and I've been doing it ever since. When the thought came in my mind about doing detailed color, I was very young, and I thought, why can't it be detailed? Why does color have to be so simple? What's the difference between a black and white photo versus a color photo? Shouldn't be any reason that you can't, mix colors together, use it more as a palette, blending back and forth, and create any color of the rainbow, except for metallics, of course, but creating anything you wanted it to be. There's no reason you had to stick with the green, the blue, the red, the orange. I think sometimes if you overthink it, you're restricting yourself. You just gotta go. Some of my early on inspirations, honestly, my first inspiration was the work of Ed Hardy. He was doing some really nice, detailed Japanese work. He had been going to Japan and studying, and had become quite good friends with Horiyoshi 2, Horiyoshi 3's father. And Horiyoshi 2 at the time was doing amazing detailed Japanese work, things that now we're seeing again from his son, but at that time no other Japanese tattoo artist was doing. And I thought, again, if he can do it, why can't I do it? So let's give it a shot. Tattoo conventions were huge at the time. It was where you showed off your work. It was the only place. We didn't have, tons of tattoo shows and tattoo magazines at the time. What we had was a tattoo convention, and those were hugely advertised, and that's where everybody went to see tattoo work. Everybody competed against each other. So winning at that convention, you were competing against the whole world, not just the people in a tiny little pocket. I had a goal. I wanted to win first place of every competition at one particular show, and then I was going to quit. So I worked every year, and I'd enter 1 or 2 or 3, and then I entered everything one year, and I was extremely fortunate to do that, and I won first place of every competition, and I haven't entered anything since. Since then, it's been my clients who enter things like that. I haven't done any design sheets and entered and stuff like that. I just kind of ride on that now. Tattooing has brought many things to my life, and I'll tell you, the first thing is it just opens your view on people, because everybody gets tattooed. Every single person, every single walk of life, everybody, every income level, it doesn't matter. They get tattooed, and you deal with them one-on-one on a close basis, and you get to know every kind of person that pretty much that there is in the world, because you're traveling, you're meeting people from different countries, you're meeting different walks of life, and that's my favorite thing. I love that. I love being able to travel and work on somebody in another country that I never would have ever gotten to meet in another job. Not that this is a job, because I love it. It can't be a job when you love it. take tattooing someone extremely serious. It's more of a commitment than marriage. It's more of a commitment than anything you do in life. Other than the fact that now we have lasers, you're permanently putting something into your skin that's almost impossible to remove. So what I do for this person is to help them to do that. I'm telling a story maybe for them, or creating a piece of art that they've loved forever. I might be honoring someone that's passed in their life. Those type of things are hugely important. And you do have to really consider every moment when you do tattoo someone how you're affecting their life forever. Great people. Tattoo artists are great people. They're really fun, the majority of them. But there's always some who are a little bit grumpy, but we don't mention them. We're often judged as tattoo artists and looked down upon, and as my kids were growing up, I usually wouldn't tell people right away. I'd kind of get to know them first and let them judge me from who I was before I would tell them what I did, because I knew that if I just came out and said, oh, I'm a tattoo artist, they're going to look down upon me and think less of who I was as a person. So I'd always get to know them first and then tell them later, let them see the work and let them see who I was, and it was a much better way to go about it. I think nowadays it's become kind of idolized, by all the TV shows and being out in the public eye more than it is. It's much more acceptable, and a lot of people will hear you say you're a tattoo artist and think that's just the coolest thing, as opposed to 20 years ago when it wasn't. The personal experiences that you get with your tattoo artist, the feeling that you get when you receive your tattoo, that empowerment that happens when you receive your tattoo. You stand up and you look in the mirror and you're just like, you feel a strength within, and that happens with every client. And that's why tattoos will never fade.